I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, November the 10th. Good morning. Yes, I'm full of beans today because I got a gig tonight in town, and I literally woke up early just like, I'm excited. I like to play the music. I like the rock and roll music. I like hitting the drums. I really like hitting the cymbals, too.
Hooray.
So that's going to go down tonight at the 7th Street entry. Bagman, I'm very excited. I know that a few of us will all be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody cut loose with your party clothes.
Yeah,
Party Friday night, get up.
Shirts off, baby.
Damn straight.
Well, I'm just happy because I am going to see Stevie, my hero, tonight.
You are.
But it's exciting because I guess she goes on like right at 7. Isn't that wonderful?
That's unusual.
I thought you meant me, Stevie.
So did
You're
I.
an hour from now.
So I'm going to go to Stevie, and then I'm going to go to Stevie, and I'm going to write a review for you, and it's going to be an evening with Stevie and Steve.
Stevie and Steve. I like that. Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm going to stay. I might skip Billy Joel just for you.
Oh, man. That would probably not be the first time someone skipped Billy Joel, but it would be the first time someone skipped Billy for me. Because, Billy Joel, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Billy Joel's great. What do I care? Come out to Bagman, Candace. Have a good time.
Okay.
I'm hoping everybody gets through the weekend in one piece. And I'm thinking about that because apparently, stay with me here, 45% of Americans have broken a bone before. And I have a question. What the hell are the other 55% of you doing?
Sitting on the couch, man. Come on.
Over half of Americans haven't broken a bone. I've had 4 broken arms, for God's sakes.
I broke my nose 4 times alone.
That's why it looks like that?
Yeah, the old crooked nose.
Is that true? 4 broken noses?
Yeah. First time brick to the face by my brother, which he still doesn't claim. I used to beat him up a lot as the older brother.
Sure.
And I had a jacket that I used to pull off of a shelf whenever I'd run out the door.
Okay.
Somehow a brick ended up on that jacket one day. Caught that one to the face. Tony loves that.
No, my cousins put a brick in my pillowcase one time.
The old brick in the pillowcase.
Did you break your nose trying to go to sleep? Rolling around. I can't sleep. Ow.
Yeah, I got both legs as a teenager. Then my left leg again 5 years ago.
Okay.
Collarbone twice. Back, ankle. What?
Okay, Evel Knievel, slow down over there.
Yeah, I wish there was all exciting there.
4 broken noses. Does the 4th one hurt as much as the first, or by that point is it like my mom when I was delivered? She's like, I'm having a baby now.
No, the 4th one was the best one. It was the worst one. It hurt the most because it broke my cheekbones as well, but my face got smashed. But, however, I couldn't breathe through my left nostril for a very long time. But after that break, I could breathe again. So that was a good break, I guess, in the end.
Jeez. And then both legs in high school?
Yeah, both legs.
How?
Yeah,
Obviously not at the same time.
Stupid. So bad. Yeah, at the same time.
By the way, whoever tells a broken bone story by saying, "Now this actually made perfect sense," every broken bone story is like, "I can't believe this happened."
No, this is particularly stupid. I'm sitting on the back of a truck. Now, my dad and my legs are dangling over the side. My dad's a big truck. Think of like a big 2.5-ton truck. So. Dad's backing it up. He can't see what's going on there in the back of the truck. My legs are dangling over the back as we go back up to those big round hay bale stacks, and then we throw some hay in the back there so we can get some cattle in there. As he's backing up, my brother's backing him up, and he just squashes on into the hay bales is what he normally does when he backs up because he knows he's arrived. The truck just eases into a hay bale. I'm there. My legs are dangling off the back. My brother and I are arguing or fighting. I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. Not in any way. My legs smashed into the hay bales. And my dad, his disbelief of, imagine that now. So he pulls forward a little bit. I fall down onto the ground. He comes back. My legs are smashed. He's like, how the hell? I was looking right at the hay bales when it happened. I mean, they were coming at me. So it's particularly stupid and very embarrassing, but that's how that happened. Yeah.
Aren't they a little softer, though? I think they would have cushioned the
You'd
impact.
be surprised. They did a little bit. So, yeah, I got to keep my legs, as it turned out. It didn't sever them, but you'd be surprised how firm a round hay bale is.
Well, before we dig deeper into all of these injuries that have clearly weighed on you and shaped you to become the man you are. Tony, broken bones? Any?
I had 0 broken
Tony!
bones. Lots of bruises.
there you are.
You're one of the 55%.
0. But
How's that possible?
I did get my schnozola knocked playing football though too. It is crooked.
Okay, but it was, but they didn't call it a broken bone.
No, it didn't.
Your nose looks fine.
Man,
thank you,
that's
honey.
insane. I'm almost afraid to ask. Candace, broken bones?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
I broke my toe.
A toe.
Yeah.
Which particular toe?
It was the one right next to the pinky, not the pinky, the baby.
It's the one. So second on the
Which
list.
piggy is that?
Is this
Yeah,
left foot or right?
It was my right foot.
And how do you break the toe next to the baby toe, but not the baby toe? What? I mean, that's a pretty specific. Did you drop a lawn dart, like just dead on the money, or what?
No. So I must have been in first or maybe like second grade. I don't know. I was in
Right.
some sort of daycare thing.
No.
Boy.
And someone stepped on it. Like another kid stepped on my foot, and it was the night before we had our big field trip to the roller gardens, which
Oh,
is like
no
my
way.
favorite roller skating place ever. And
Yeah.
I couldn't go, so I just sit there and watch everyone roller skate. And then I cried, and then the DJ played "I Want Candy" for me, and everyone sang it to me, and it was like I was crying, and it was embarrassing, and yeah.
You can't do
Yeah.
anything about a broken toe either. They don't.
Yeah,
set
I
it
heard that's
or
what they
anything.
said. Everyone says that.
You tape it to the other toe, I
Does-
guess,
does
but
a-
that doesn't do much.
Does a cracked rib count? I had 2 cracked ribs.
I think
Oh,
so.
hell
Is that-
yeah.
All right, I
That's
rode
one of the most.
rode a motorcycle into a building and got 2 cracked ribs. I
You're
totally
supposed to
forgot.
jump over it, Tony. You forgot the ramp.
Hold on. Am I getting this wrong? But was it not just simply a motorcycle, but wasn't it Brian Zepp's motorcycle?
Oh, someone did that with my motorcycle once.
no.
First day I bought it, drove it to the radio station.
Oh,
Kid's
okay.
like, "Hey, Dad, hey man, can I drive your?" I'm like, "Have you ever ridden one of these things?" He goes, "All the time." Gets on the bike, puts it in the gear, goes straight into the building. I'm like, "Are
okay.
you freaking killing me?"
I heard
Kidding
that
me?
story, and I heard Tony's
Yeah.
story, and in my brain it was the same
Sure.
story. I was
Well,
like,
wow.
oh my God, Tony crashes that
I would have been
motorcycle.
honored if Tony
Yeah.
Lee would have wrecked my bike the very first day I had it. But cracked ribs, which I've also had, that's one of the more painful ones. That definitely counts as broken. Cracked is broken.
Well,
I sneezed one time and I just cried because it hurt
No,
so
I've
bad.
had-
right?
I mean, I broke my left arm in 4th grade. I broke my left arm again in 6th grade. Then I broke both arms together when I was 20.
And you're a drummer.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because after the second, when I broke them both playing basketball, after breaking the first one playing football, then skateboarding, then basketball, I was like, clearly I'm meant to be a musician. There's no sports have to end soon before I die. But I've never, while with all those broken bones, I never had trouble breathing. So yeah, the cracked rib definitely counts
Yeah,
on
that
the
one.
list of that's a broken bone.
All right, then I'm on the list.
I'm responsible in a sense, not really, but I felt bad. My son joined the Broken Bone Club when he was, July to October, 15 months old.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was tough. And I'm on tour. We lived in Brooklyn. I'm on tour. It's literally 2 weeks, for 2 or 3 weeks after 9/11. So being in New York City it's an excruciatingly
Intense.
difficult, painful time. I come home for 1 day off on tour when this happened. And in the afternoon, I'm like, honey, I'll take him to the park. You go take a nap or go run, whatever you got to do. I'm here for a few hours. Knock yourself out. And I was playing a gig that night in Atlantic City, which is only a few hours drive. I take Connell to the park, to Prospect Park, and there's a little something called the Tot Lot, which is the playground for little guys, little guys and gals. Tot Lot. And he's walking, and we're walking side by side, and a tennis ball rolls from behind us right under his foot in step. Perfectly in step. And his foot steps on it and shoots forward.
Yeah.
And he falls backwards. And his right foot shoots up. His left foot stays planted on the ground. And as he falls back, it twists and it breaks a bone in his shin.
Oh, little guy.
And I'm like, oh, I think he's really hurt. Wow, that's weird. But I thought because he
Get
bumped
up
his
and
head.
walk it off.
He hit his head when he fell, so he was holding his head. So I'd take him home,
Yeah.
and then I set him down, and then after a few minutes, his head's okay, and we're like, oh, he's good. And then he tries to stand up, and he just falls down. And then he tries to stand up, and he just falls down, and I'm like, that's new. He was running just great a few minutes ago.
He worked great.
And I run him into the pediatrician, and they literally do an X-ray, and they're like, and I bring him home 4 hours later with a cast on his leg, and I hand him to my wife, and I go, my car's here. I got to go to Atlantic City.
Oh man,
my
you
gosh.
took the kid for 3 hours and you broke him.
Yeah, and returned with
Oh,
him
man.
in a full leg cast, and he went back to crawling for 6 weeks. It was-
Enough you go.
oh my God, Father of the Year, not. I've never felt worse in my life, and everyone's like, "Hey, it must have felt great to get out of there." Like, no, I'm in the back of a car driving me to Atlantic City, just like I just was like, please, just drive off this bridge, just end this for me right now.
No.
Did you get a kiss goodbye?
I got nothing but daggers. I mean, she was literally looking at me like, you cannot be serious that this is what you're leaving me with. And neither one of us knew it at the time. She was also newly pregnant, so she was already hormonal. She was raging, like, I don't know. And of course, we're like, well, 9/11's tough on all of us. Tougher on some of us than others.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
Now you got me.
so yeah, there's not a single broken bone story that makes perfect sense. No one. Every broken bone story is dumber than the one before it. Is my point.
I love Broken Bone. It's Broken Bone Friday. Let's do it here at 7 o'clock after Mike Evans. We'll start talking your broken bone stories. We'll get something up on the KQ Facebook page. Let's hear some fun broken bone stories on Friday. I think that's exciting. Our talking text line, by the way, 651-989-ROCK. Movie Review Friday. Mike Evans coming at 6:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. We have been discussing broken bones. It's Broken Bones Friday, apparently. I like that, BBF. We're going to take a few calls in a few moments. Thank you for your patience. But right now, we have to go to the West Coast for the Mike Evans. Mike, have you ever broken a bone Hollywood report?
I broke my arm when I was like 13 years old, high jumping. I jumped over the bar, and the bar went across my chest, and my right arm was underneath it, and I fell down on it and broke my arm.
Attaboy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the only broken bone I've had, though.
That's pretty good. I didn't know you were a track and field man.
Obviously, I'm not.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like, how the hell do you do that? What a spazzo. How about you?
Oh, we don't have time. Four arms and a series of tendons and ligament, all kinds of stuff.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
Hey, happy Veterans Day weekend to all the veterans out there.
That's exactly right. Tomorrow, 11/11.
That's right. Love Nugget. It is true that Jennifer Hudson and Common are in love. They're the real deal. What's amazing is they've sort of kept it quiet for, 2 years, but they definitely are a couple. This is a weird one, Steve. Mm-hmm. Priscilla Presley says that she almost married Robert Kardashian after Elvis Presley died, which reminds me, Robert Kardashian's best friend, of course, O.J. Simpson, and the story about O.J. had an affair with Chris while Chris was still married to his best friend, Robert Kardashian. Some friend, but, we are talking about O.J. here. So.
I can't hear this O.J. bad-mouthing.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait. No, that's right. I keep forgetting he's a double murderer. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Let him have it.
One more O.J. nugget. He was spotted walking like a 100-year-old man on Tuesday in Las Vegas. He lives in Vegas. Not looking in good shape at all.
No, he's carrying around a lifetime of pain from football, and then the guilt of two souls on his shoulders. That'll weigh a man down.
Yeah, I mean, everybody there can tell you, because I started there at KQ and been there ever since, covering the O.J. trial every day, and how he got off on that still amazes me. Okay, Marcus Theater brings this report to you every day, so it's time for Movie Review. I was blown away when I did a little research, Steve. The 2019 Marvels movie, according to Hollywood Reporter, has made $1,131,416,446 worldwide to date.
Not a penny out of this pocket, I can tell you that.
Wow, I'm amazed. The Marvels movie being released today won't come close to that number. However, despite some lukewarm reviews, I liked it. Still creative, fun, fast-moving movie for what it is. Brie Larson's great. Samuel Jackson's great. PG-13. Here's the big news. It's only 105 minutes long. I mean, usually they're 3 hours. I mean, well, they're long. 3 stars for the new Marvels movie.
Okay.
Also opening at Marcus Theater today is a family-friendly live action Christmas musical adventure. Okay, I got it all in. It's Journey to Bethlehem. It's all about Joseph and the Mary and the Nativity story. It's a musical, so certainly not for everybody, but it's well done, rated PG, so kids can go. 90 minutes long, also 3 stars, The Journey to Bethlehem. TV news. There's already talk of a Matthew Perry biopic.
Jeez.
And Matthew's best friend, Zac Efron, wants to be his buddy, Matthew Perry, in the movie.
Because he's not working.
Yeah, boy, I got to think about that. I'm not going to think about it, but if I cared, I would.
I'm down.
Just the idea of playing your good buddy in a film, that's a lot to take on.
It is. It really is. Hey, did you like Band of Brothers?
Oh, loved it. Yeah, incredible.
Did you like Pacific?
Not as much, but also fantastic.
I totally agree. Well, get ready for Masters of the Air. Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks have partnered up again and have made a 9-episode Apple TV Plus miniseries. It tells the true story of the 100th Bomber Group who flew a surprise bomb raids in Nazi Germany in World War II. Austin Butler stars. Man, it looks fantastic. It doesn't drop until January 26th, but again, Spielberg says it's the best thing he's ever done. And if it's like Band of Brothers, it's got to be really good. It's called Masters of the Air, and again, it's on Apple Plus.
Missed Band of Brothers in real time. I believe it premiered the week right before 9/11, so it got lost in the shuffle when it was originally on, and then never went back until sometime during the pandemic. Just in the last couple of years, finally watched it and was blown away.
Wow, it was great.
Yeah.
So, look. I'm so happy the strike is over. A little personal note. Yesterday, my agent texted me, and he said that Artists Equity Plan B, participating studios, and Lucasfilms, since the strike is over, we'll be reading my script on the movie in the next couple of weeks. And it's a 1,000,000-to-1 shot this thing ever gets made, but the strike over, at least I can enjoy being maybe in the game. You know what I'm saying?
You, in the game? Dude, you're center square.
I don't know about that. But anyway, it's just fun. And I'm talking to some people that are going back to work yesterday by phone, and it's great.
Yeah.
Last day of signs that I've been getting. We won't do these next week. This one came from Andy R., who loves you, listens every day on KQ. The sign, he emailed me the sign. It said, "No dogs allowed except seeing eye or hearing ear dogs."
Hearing ear.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What the hell is that?
Okay, fair enough.
Hearing, was it being funny or I don't know. What are you doing this weekend?
What am I? I got a gig tonight here in Minneapolis. My band Bagman is playing 7th Street entry tonight, and then I'm going to watch an embarrassment of riches football. Both the Saturday boys and the Sunday men got a lot of football planned.
I sure hope we have a home game against New Orleans. Who's going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be?
It's Josh Jobs, baby.
Yeah, he did it before. He can do it again. That's what I say.
Damn straight.
I'm going to sing. It's Aloha Friday. No, we're Monday. We're going to play the Aloha Friday. Go Vikings. Everybody be safe. Have a great weekend. Happy Veterans Day. Lily Okalani, Lani Ani Ote, Eva Ku, and a cock and a hawk and ho. Aloha.
There it is, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report for a Friday. We've been discussing broken bones on this show, and we've got a couple folks who have very, very patiently been waiting to share a story or two with us. Candace, who is on the phone?
Mark from Glencoe.
Mark, good morning, brother.
Yes, sir. How you doing this morning?
We're great. What do you got for us?
I used to drive dump truck. They call it end dump.
Okay.
And I got to the dump site where I was dumping my load and raised the box, and the stuff didn't come out.
Right.
Well, then I was tired, so I took a little siesta, and I woke up, and I went out and walked around the back of the truck, and I couldn't figure out what was going on, so I was walking back to the tractor, and I noticed that the trailer came unplugged. Well, instead of going back in the truck to make sure it was latched and everything was shut off, I plugged the trailer back in, and the stuff come flying out, and the truck and trailer rolled right over my ankle.
Oh, man.
And then I wasn't smart enough to call 911 or anything, so I hobbled back to the tractor, hopped in, and drove it to the doctor's office. And they said, "How'd you get here?" I said, "I drove here." And they said, "No way." I said, "Yeah, I drove here."
Wait,
And it was
right ankle or left ankle?
right ankle.
Oh, you are one tough son bitch.
Well, I don't know about
Did you
that.
just left foot it the whole way?
Jeez.
No, I used them both.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for not plowing into someone on the way there.
Yeah, really.
That's about right, too. No, we
Daggum.
made it safely.
Yeah. Well, right on, Mark. Remember, plug that trailer in. That's the
Yeah.
lesson of the day. Thanks for the call, brother. Tony, we have a
Yes,
text
sir.
message.
Have a good night.
Thought my dad was giving a sex talk there for a moment, about dumping the load and driving the truck. And what's going on here?
I was kind of confused. Tony, what do we
Yeah, I
got?
got a text here. I broke my elbow playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with the neighborhood kids. I was a captured member of the Foot Clan when I tried to escape. D'Artagnan tripped me with a stick.
That'll do it.
D'Artagnan, that
That'll
scamp.
happen every time.
Barbara, after my own heart, playing softball, had a play at second base. Runner slid right into my ankle with her spikes. Painful break, but I got the out.
Hell yeah, you did. Candace, do we have another call?
Yes, another Mark from Ellsworth, Wisconsin.
Mark 2, what's up, brother?
I don't know what's worse, your own stupidity or someone else's when you break a bone. I was on a motorcycle going through an intersection, light turned green, and bam! Somebody nails me from the left side, went right through the red light. Anyway, make a long story short, I fly through the air, take out this lady's windshield, and I land behind the car. I sit up going, oh, crap, what happened to my bike? Luckily, I was wearing a helmet. The face shield was shattered. Pulled the helmet off, and my left foot was laying on my shoulder.
Oh,
Oh.
Bent my femur, just completely over, just shattered my lower leg, broke some ribs, punctured lung. Wasn't pretty. Anyway,
no.
so the lady whose windshield I smashed happened to be a nurse at the hospital that was only like 3 miles away from where it happened. So she's holding my hand, comforting me until the ambulance gets there. And so, tell you what, the worst pain I've ever felt is when they had to straighten out my leg to put me on that stretcher. that femur. Oh, yeah.
It would have been like, can you get me in there with a bent leg, please?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, so I'm in the ICU after they did a bunch of surgeries, and the nurse that was holding my hand, she comes in to see me with a cast on her hand. I'm like, what happened? I don't remember, some kind of impact with you. And she said, you don't remember? When they straightened out your leg, you were holding my hand, and you squeezed it so hard it broke into my hand.
Oh, no.
Wowzer.
Oh, Mark, that is brutal. Well, you've obviously made it through the hardest part of that. We appreciate the call, brother, and thank you for listening. What a story.
Absolutely. Hey, break a leg with a big man tonight.
Right on, brother. Well, hang on. Don't tell me to break a leg with that femur story.
It's funny.
Cheers. I got to say, you know what? When I did break my arms, when I broke both arms in a freak basketball injury, my left elbow was broken. And when they went to x-ray it, the guy he said, put your elbow up on the table. And I had it bent. It was bent to straighten the arm. I couldn't straighten it. He goes, we've got to straighten it for the x-ray. And the technician was under the assumption I'd been given a painkiller of some sort. And he just grabbed it and pulled it down. And that amount of pain was there's pain, and then there was that. And I had, my brother told me, like, literally, he said, sweat and tears flew off your head like they had been propulsed.
Oh, my God.
I was like, yeah, that was fun. That was kind of fun.
Double check that pain medication before we start yanking on the broken limbs.
Yeah.
Please.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. There are a few things I enjoy more in life than watching Candace Wheeler air drum.
Yeah, I know how to play that song on the drums. I mean, it's been a while, but I did learn it at one point when I was taking drum lessons with my brother.
Cool.
But I just tried to do it in front of Steve, and I messed up, and it was so embarrassing.
Yeah, that really wasn't even close. But you know what? We'll set up a kit. We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
We'll put
it's
you to the
fun.
test, and we will video that audition. Come Together from the Beatles' Abbey Road album also appears on the Beatles' Blue Greatest Hits album, 67 to 70. Remember the two albums that came out in 1973. There was the red, 62-66, the blue, 67-70, Beatles double album greatest hits. They have been reissued and re-released and remixed and remastered, and they're available today. The red album has 12 additional tracks, and the blue has 9 additional tracks. George Martin's son, Giles Martin, has remixed in stereo and Dolby Atmos, and word on the street is the earlier music from the Red Album is actually the most mind-blowing with the new mixes. Just was, because of technology, you're able to get inside what was 2 and 4 track tapes and bring things up and boost things and limit things, and the sound is apparently far greater than it's ever been. I'm looking forward to blasting that all weekend.
Oh, that's spectacular. I listened the hell out of Red and Blue.
Yeah, big parts of my childhood as well. It's Friday, November 10th. I got a gig at the 7th Street Entry tonight. My band Bagmen is playing. I'm very excited about that. I'm hoping we all escape unharmed because so far it's been Broken Bone Friday here on the KQ Morning Show. A lot of broken bones here in house and a lot of broken bones out there. Do we have a text you wanted to share, Tony, or...
Yes, I thought this was adorable. I broke my ankle doing a victory dance over playing darts.
That is fantastic.
Oh, that's getting injured celebrating. That's
well,
embarrassing.
the common theme throughout the day is you can't break a bone without the word I can't believe this happened, or really just the word stupid. This was so stupid. This is how it kind of goes. I'm 4 for 4 on broken bones with I can't believe that happened. What an idiot. I'm setting the pace. I'm basically I'm the rabbit on the track on this marathon. I'm setting the tone and pace for folks. And we have a lot of listeners who want to share their stories. Candace, who is on the phone as we speak?
We have Michael from Brooklyn Center.
Michael, good morning.
You guys talking about Broken Bones? My nickname's Broken Bones.
Broken Bones. Yeah, all
You
right.
bear the bodies. Yeah.
No, my nickname's Bones. That's tattooed on my right arm.
Oh, right on.
Talking about Bones, check this out. Hey, I was living up north in a group home, assisted living at adult daycare, and the staff were working on a Sunday. It was a big black dude. We got in an argument, and he threw me on the ground and broke my right arm. Catholic Charity staff, and I'm the one to get charged with a felony. You figure that out.
Well, I mean...
Cripes.
Yeah. There may be more to the story. I'm not sure.
But then you'd owe me some money.
This is Stearns County here. I'm living in Hennepin now, but them knuckleheads from Catholic Charities, I got them. I went to a injury attorney.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, we got them by the balls.
Oh, watch out.
Okay, Michael.
Living the good life.
Right on.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Michael. We appreciate it. Man.
Detailed experience.
Got those Catholic Charities by the balls.
I was just worried he was going to swear.
Yeah, I was worried about a lot of things.
My dump button isn't working.
Don't say that.
Try a little fiber, maybe.
Candace, do we have
I
anybody?
just need a good tickle.
Do we have, watch yourself. Do we have anything else? Anybody else that wants to share a story?
Yes, Donna from Maplewood.
Donna, good morning.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, all is well so far. And you?
Well, really, really well. But I can't top the one with the guy who broke his own bone and then the nurse's bone. But I got a good one. So,
yeah.
Well, actually, I got 2, but I'll make them quick. So I'm in I'm a baby boomer. So back in the day, we just got dropped off places and, we fended for ourselves. There's a place called Echobakken, and I grew up skiing on my own mom and dad's hill with bamboo poles and tie boots and skis that didn't come off when you fell. Mm-hmm. But that was okay because they were short skis. And so I go for the first time on a regular hill, first time down the hill, break my leg, fall and break my leg. There's bobsleds all over because it was a dual kind of setup there.
Right.
Back in those, it was probably 60s. Anyway, so my girlfriend, I get put in the chalet. She's skiing. I'm eating candy bars that they're providing for free because probably they didn't want the liability situation. But anyway, so she comes in. She goes, "Come on, just try it one more time. You can walk on it." So I just about put it on the skis and went back on. And then I went, no, I better not. That night, my mom says, "You're walking on it. You're probably fine. Let's wait until morning." So I'm, next morning she packs me a lunch because she's got to do the laundry for 8 kids, and my dad brings me down on his way to work. And so, I'm at the hospital 10 years old by myself. And then, of course, it's broken, and they put a cast on it, and they can come back and pick me up, and, no big deal. Fast forward a couple of years, my sister's chasing me through the dining room, and I clip my toe on the dining room chair and instinctively run into the bathroom, lock the door.
Mm-hmm.
And I look down, and my toe's sticking straight out sideways.
Oh, boy.
So my dad kind of just gingerly puts it back and goes, well, there goes your water skiing for the summer.
Oh, boy.
And that was like the worst thing he could have told me.
Yeah, that's
back
not
then,
good.
Water skiing and snow skiing were my
For a
favorite
broken toe.
things. Yeah. So I put on a tennis shoe and I skied it the whole summer.
That a girl.
Oh,
That a girl. All right, Donna. Well, hey, thanks for the call. That's that's pretty strong. Two good ones. Thank you very much for that.
You know what I remember most about that phone call right there from Donna was that she was going to make it quick.
Yeah.
I remember that
Hey,
part.
leave Donna alone. Donna's the best.
She broke some bones.
Those were good stories. And by the way, she said, she and her sister chasing. I didn't break a bone in a chase, in a race, I should say. My brother Doug and I running through the garage into the den to get to the bathroom on the downstairs level of our split level. Because that bathroom had the coldest water. Like you just needed, you needed a good hand. You needed to sip out of the faucet there, and that had the coldest water. And so we were racing to get to the water. And as he went around the couch, I was 7, I believe. I went up and over the couch, but not really. I went up, and then I almost went over, and then my foot caught on the back, and I broke my fall with my face, and my jaw just dislocated. It just went rank. And didn't break a bone, but dislocated my jaw. And that still occasionally doesn't quite sync up just right.
That was a crafty move, though,
It was
to hop over the couch.
Oh, no, it was a great move. I was like, man, I'm going for it. That was in the days when we used to play, at the same time, we'd play Hot Lava. You put all the pillows on the floor,
Oh,
and you
yeah,
could
I
only
played
jump on the
that.
pillows. And imagine my surprise when I found out years later that wasn't a Gorman invention. I literally thought we were the only people on earth that had that game.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it now, Candace. You don't have to rub it in. Jeez. This is a wild story. This is a guy who ended up with a broken leg from a very unexpected source, a significant leg injury from down under. Real quick fun fact about Australia. Everything there can kill you. And especially the biggest things you see, like, I don't know, the occasional crocodile.
Okay.
An Australian man survived a crocodile attack by, among other things, biting it back.
Where?
Lashed onto me, and it was a big grab, solid. He shook me straight away, shook me like a rag doll. He took off in the water about 3 meters. I jumped in the air and kicked him in the ribs behind the front shoulder. And I managed to have a bite. And then I actually missed most of what I was biting at. It was all heavy head, heavy bone. And my teeth slipped up and I got all of the eyelids. And I jerked back on that and had about a second go past and he let go.
Around the eyelid, to answer your question, Tony.
All right, softer.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna. I mean, God, heaven forbid, any of us are ever in that situation. So I can't judge a man who, while being attacked by a crocodile, decides to bite it back. The fact he's alive, okay, you won, you did the job.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds a little weird to me.
Australia was the country where the guy survived the Great White Attack by punching it in the face.
Yeah, I tell you what.
I don't know what's more dangerous, the animals down under or the people.
Oh, it's 50-50. It just totally depends. They've got kangaroos. I went to a kangaroo farm place in 1992, and you can just walk out into a field full of roos and feed them.
Cool.
Right, they come right up to your hand. And the guy was explaining it to us, and he's like, they're very friendly. Go out there. And he goes, kneel down so that you're not intimidating. And they have this kibble that you just get a handful, and they come up and they eat it. I have photos of my hand with kibble and a kangaroo mouth right there. But then I looked across the way, maybe 30 yards away, and I was like, man, that one's huge. Like, look at that kangaroo. And the guy goes, oh, yeah, the reds, stay away from the reds, mate, 6-7 feet tall. And I'm like, what do you mean stay away from them? He goes, well, don't call them over to you. And I'm like, why? He goes, well, they've got those, they got that nail. They can split you right in half, mate, cut you wide open. And I'm like, shouldn't they be in a different part of the park?
Right.
And he goes, nah, don't make eye contact. They won't bother you. And I'm like, what if I do make eye contact? He goes, well, they might come over and try to get some of that kibble. I'm like, what is this, a death cult?
Right. Say that first before I start feeding the others.
Yeah, but no, it was no one. They just kind of minded their own business. But they were a reddish hue, and they were literally they were taller than me. And I was like, that's an animal I don't want to mess with. And by the way, the kangaroos, a lot of they have they must have Pilates tables because their trunks are just like 6-pack abs and stuff. Mm-hmm. Wow. Those things are muscular, man. And then over to the side, you had those dingo dogs with razor-sharp teeth and bad attitudes. They were everything down there. And then, of course, the same thing on a beach in Australia. It's absolutely beautiful. You look at the water, and then you see the sign. It's like, box jellyfish. No. Like, okay, great. Can't even get in the water. I'm not sharks. They don't even have to worry about sharks. What about the box jellyfish?
And the Vegemite will make you sick.
Oh, God, that's the worst thing in the
world.
world.
A miserable place. Well, right now.
No, go ahead. I'm done. I'm not going to kick my friends from down under anymore.
We'll take callers 9 and 2 at 651-989-ROCK. We're playing Beat the Toaster this morning. Tickets for 92 KQRS presents Iron Maiden. That's happening Tuesday, October 22nd at the XL Energy Center. Prize provided by Live Nation. They're on sale now. And our runner-up today gets those Little River Band tickets this Saturday at the Medina. Prize provided by the Medina. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show on a Broken Bone Friday. No one here has a broken bone, at least not right now or not yet. 55% of Americans say they've never broken a bone, including Tony Lee, which just freaks me out. But you have had cracked ribs, so we brought you in. We brought you over to the 45% side.
Cracked counts.
Cracked absolutely counts. And so the Facebook page lit up. We've had a lot of calls and a lot of texts about broken bones, and we do greatly appreciate your input because every story is a little nuttier than the one before it. But right now, we're going to put a pause on BBF, Broken Bone Friday, because we got some tickets to give away. Iron Maiden is playing the XL Energy Center in October of 2024. So we're going to give tickets away, and you have plenty of time to clear your schedule. October 22nd, 2024, Iron Maiden. We've got tickets to give away. We've got callers on hold who are ready to vie for those tickets. And, Tony, what are we going to put these poor people through?
It's Friday, so let's play the wonderful
Wakey, eggs and bacon.
Toast.
Toast.
I would like toast.
Toast.
Who wants toast?
I love toast.
When this guy put some bread in a toaster, you wouldn't believe what happened next.
You've got bread and a toaster of some kind.
You make me a grilled cheese sandwich.
Your breakfast is ready.
I didn't hear a ding.
The KQ Morning Show presents...
All we need to do is beat the toaster.
Beat the toaster.
It's a game show. Beat the toaster.
Breakfast is ready.
It's time again for Beat the Toasty. Here's what we do. We pop a hypothetical slice of bread into the toaster here in the studio. We'll give you a category, then you name as many things that pop into your head as possible in 15 seconds before the toast pops. Yes, it's scary, but gosh darn it, it's fun.
Oh, my, is it fun.
2 rounds each.
2 rounds each. Yep. I like it. Candace, who is contestant number 1?
Mike from Cambridge.
Mike, good morning.
Morning.
You ready to play Beat the Toaster, my friend?
Let's give it a shot.
Oh, I like that. I like that spunk. Let's do it, Tony.
All right, lad, here's your first one. You're a cop. You pull over Kirk Cousins. You search his trunk. What do you find in there? Go.
Old footballs, basketball cap, bunch of marijuana, a couple of joints, alcohol, bottle of Grey Goose, bottle of Jack Daniels.
Okay, Mike, are you familiar with Kirk Cousins?
Clearly.
So he's living a secret life is what you're telling us. It's all in the trunk.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
He's having a great time.
He seems to be.
These days.
Oh, wow. So was that 4? He said alcohol, and then he went to Grey Goose. I think it just all falls under alcohol.
Yeah. Same with that. I think there's 2 references to weed.
Pot and joints.
And was it a basketball hat?
There was a basketball cap. You know,
like a basketball
they
cap.
take the helmet off and put that on. So, Mike, we're going to give you 4 on that first round, which is not bad at all. Round 1 is usually pretty dicey for everybody here. So, well done. Hang on for 1 sec. We're going to go to caller number 2 now for their first round. Candace?
Jerry from Cody, South Dakota. Condi, South Dakota. Condi, South Dakota.
Know it well.
Jerry from Condi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys.
Everything okay over there in South Dakota?
Very good. Beautiful weather so far. Don't want any snow.
All right. Well, good luck to you, sir. Are you ready to play Beat the Toaster?
Yes, I am.
Best of luck. Here we go.
All right, my man. Your first one. Name some occasions that would be perfect because, fortunately, you have macaroni and cheese stuffed into your pocket. Go.
Family gatherings, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Halloween, bar mitzvahs. Birthday party.
Okay, Jer, how many did we get there?
Like 4, but they all fell under the blanket of occasions. Well,
yeah.
All right.
4. I agree. I think that's 4, which is certainly it's nice to know we've got 4 versus 4. So round 2 is really going to be when we separate the wheat from the chaff.
To the death.
Yeah. All right, Jerry, well played, sir. Sit tight. Mike, it is time for round 2 of Beat the Toaster. Good luck to you, sir.
All right, lad. If you had the ability to jump 50 feet into the air, what jobs would you apply for that might benefit from your skills? Go.
Window cleaner, roofing installer, tree trimmer, electrician for high gravity pulls. I can't think of anything else.
That's all right. You got 4 good ones.
A solid rim protector for the Timberwolves. Right. That's window cleaner, roof, and tree. Yeah, that's 4 great ones. All right, Mike. So you're in with 8, brother. That's very well played. Hang on now. We'll see what Jerry's got for round 2. You with us, Jerry?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Round 2, brother. Best of luck.
All right, Jer. What physical characteristics or skills that animals have would you like to possess? Go.
Fast, running fast, strength, biting good, biting strong bite, eyesight, hearing, able to see at night.
Okay, eyesight and see at night are the same, but that said, you still got running fast, strong, biting, eyesight here. You got 5 on that round.
Yes, sir.
So, Jerry, that means you got 9 total. You, my friend, have won the game.
Bravo.
Jerry picks up tickets to see Iron Maiden Tuesday, October 22nd at XL Energy Center. Congrats. Mike, we're not going to let you leave empty-handed. Saturday night, that's tomorrow night, November 11th, you got tickets to see Little River Band at Medina Entertainment Center. Gentlemen, thank you both for calling and playing.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it. Right on.
Right on.
Man.
That was some good toasting.
Those are some good toasting right there. Jeez.
I think that we should try to play it sometime. I don't know if I could do it. I think I would just choke.
Oh, I would love to do that. I can give you
we could probably just whip one out right now, Candace. Tony, you got a category for
I'm
Candace?
not ready.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
All right.
Let's see, Candace. Let's go.
Candace, name me.
Oh no.
Hang on, let me give you a good one.
Get it ready. Get the clock ready.
Oh God.
Candice, name me things that are Canadian. Go.
Hockey.
It's right next door. We literally border Manitoba. Come
I'm trying to think of actors. This is hard.
Actors?
Uh-huh. All right, you got one good
you
one.
got one. Hang on, let's see. I'm Googling hockey. Let's see where it was invented. Trying to find.
Doesn't matter where it was invented; it was perfected in Canada.
Well, that's what they want you to think.
It counts.
Does it count? Yeah, first played in Montreal. So there's one. Candace got one. Very strong. As for actors, Jim Carrey is Canadian.
I wouldn't have known
Michael
that.
J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox is Canadian. Anybody from SCTV or Kids in the Hall we would have taken. You know who else is Canadian? Trebek. Alex Trebek is Canadian.
Was.
Yeah, was. Rest his soul.
I feel bad I said that. I miss him.
So just as a primer for things to come, we should play Beat the Toaster with all of us playing.
Okay.
Someone has to come up with a category that Tony's unaware of for his, but we'll plot that out. We'll plan it. We'll be more prepared.
Right.
And Candace, if you play your cards right, we'll give you the answers first.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'll tailor them to you individually.
Is that what country? Tony, if I asked you to name things from a certain, okay, not Canada, but what do you think you do the best at? If I said, give me things that are Russian or Swedish, where would you come in the strongest?
A country?
Yeah.
America?
Well, other than America.
Good answer.
Maybe Mexico?
Maybe Mexico, sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Italy.
Does anyone know how to say broken bone in Mexico? Adobe. That's right. Adobe. Sorry, just a Pee-wee's Big Adventure reference there I felt was missing from the rest of the show. So anyway, yeah, ice hockey first played in 1875 in Montreal. Wow. Can you imagine just how violent ice hockey was back in the original days when they were, not only were they fighting for the puck, but they were fighting over what the rules actually are?
Right.
Everybody's showing up going, no, it's not how we play it in my neighborhood. And then they're just throwing hands left and right.
Maybe it just started as a stick fight, you know?
Yeah, you know what? It probably was. It was probably like a rumble between two rival gangs on ice. And then they were just like, I got a crazy idea here. But if we added a little competition to this like regularly, maybe that's a way. That's why the fighting's so important. You're keeping the streets safe by fighting it on the ice.
It was moms that said, stop your fighting, and then dads that said, you know what, if you organize this a little bit, maybe the moms will let you get away with it.
Yeah,
so that's
exactly
just a mom
right.
and dad thing. So they were playing football in Canada before they were playing ice hockey.
That's
Nuts.
pretty crazy. That really is. Zepp, did you ever lace them up? I mean, as a kid growing up in South Dakota, is that a thing over there?
I think I would have loved to. I feel like the first time I saw hockey in person, I felt like, oh, this is my sport. But we didn't have hockey where I grew up, and I didn't run into it until I got off to college and I was the guy on the Zamboni. I saw them just skating into each other, crushing each other into the boards, and I went, and, in football, you got to be huge and fast and everything, which I wasn't, and I thought, that's it. If I had just had some skates.
Right.
But, I could have lost a couple more teeth. Didn't happen for me, though.
Same, Tony, not as a child in the state of Minnesota, for crying out loud.
I played with my friends.
Did you?
And we had a little rink in the backyard. Very small.
Backyard rinks.
Yeah, I was born in Muskegon, Michigan, moved to Baltimore as a baby, but the family slides. You see my older brothers, all hockey gear. They played same thing. They would just go find someone's backyard and push off the snow and turn it into a rink somehow. They were just constantly the idea of pickup games of hockey. That was always mind-blowing. I mean, pickup basketball, sure, I get it. A pickup touch football or whatever, but man, pickup hockey, I just always blew my mind that was even a thing.
Yeah. How do you get the kids out of the house in the winter? Get the hell out here and take a hockey stick with you.
I learned how to ice skate. I started skating in like second or third grade in Maryland, and I felt like I was pretty good at it and thinking maybe I could play hockey one day, but I was skating. And one day, my oldest sister, Susan, dropped me off at the rink with a friend, and then she said, I think I'll come in. She was she's in her late teens, and she had grown up in Michigan. And she put on the skates, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, my sister's she's going to die. I got to look out for her. I got to take care of her. She doesn't know what she's doing. And we go out on the ice, and I'm literally like, Sue, do you know what you're doing? And she looks at me like, what are you talking about? And within 10 seconds, she's skating backwards, all around the rink. And I'm so concerned with her that I fell down like 7 times. I just kept watching her, and I'm running into people. And she came over, and finally she goes, honey, I'm from Michigan. You're not. I am. And I'm like, Oh, my God. She's so cool. I couldn't never seen anything like it in my life. Blown away by that.
Yeah, that's outstanding. All right, we have a guest to get along to, you guys. From touring with Steve Miller, this guy is a guitarist in his 20s. Max Marshall has now written his first book. It's called Among the Bros, a fraternity crime story about a cabal of Southern College fraternity brothers that got busted with over $20 million worth of Xanax. In fact, Sony Pictures has just bought the film rights. Max Marshall, our guest at 8 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Friday, November the 10th. Good morning. We've had quite a show already today. Broken Bone Friday. Lots of crazy stories from listeners. Everybody's had a broken bone or two or three, and the stories just, they never really make sense. They just get dumber in hindsight. We've all got those in our past. If you've got a broken bone story you want to share, feel free. The KQRS Facebook page is wide open. Talking text line 651-989-ROCK. However, right now, we're going to have a conversation with a guy named Max Marshall. He is a writer. He is a journalist. He also is a guitarist of note, which we will briefly get into right now. Max, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
You've got a fascinating book out now that I want to talk to you about, but I would be remiss if I didn't start here on a classic rock station by mentioning you. A lot of people probably know who you are and maybe not know your name. You're the kid that played with Steve Miller over the years, literally on the road with him as a teenager. And this all started because you and he attended the same school, obviously, at different times. Is that correct?
Yes, 50 years apart. He came back for sort of a reunion, and I was the Pee Wee blues player, and he heard me play, and I guess kind of liked what he heard. He loves the blues, has always loved the blues, and taught me basically everything I know on the guitar.
The Pee Wee Blues circuit, way more active than people might realize.
I was playing bar mitzvahs and birthday parties.
Maybe not the biggest group, but certainly as passionate as any. And so that is an amazing story in and of itself. A kid meeting Steve Miller, and then one thing leads to another, and suddenly you find yourself on stage like, oh, I guess I'm actually doing this. But we do have to move on. You're from Texas, as I mentioned. You end up going to Columbia University. You've written for a lot of journals and magazines, and you know, New York Times, Sports Illustrated. You're having a great run here. And then all of a sudden you come across a crazy story about a fraternity at the College of Charleston, and this leads to your book, Among the Bros, a fraternity crime story. And reading the summary, I'm still in shock. I can't believe this is a real story. And I'm a guy who for years has said, oh, you don't want to join a frat, they're all douchebags. And I mean, blanket statement, sure. But literally, you stumbled into, in a world filled with true crime interest, this is an absolute goldmine and more mind-boggling with every sentence I read.
Yeah, so it was the biggest drug ring in American history ever found at a college. And so cocaine from Mexico via Atlanta and the cartels, they're bringing in weed from dozens of sources, acid, ketamine, all sorts of drugs. But the main drug was counterfeit Xanax. So they're bringing it in from China via the dark web. They had their own pill presses, and they're making hundreds of thousands and then ultimately millions of Xanax pills. And then using the fraternity system, using pledges, using sort of fraternity brothers, these big houses with lots of customers to push the product.
So the ringleader, there's a kid named Mikey Schmidt, College of Charleston. He ran the Kappa Alpha Order frat. He was the ringleader. He's in the joint, 10 years in prison without parole. Is he from... Did this kid or did any of these guys actually, I mean, this might sound nuts, but are they from crime families? Or what? I mean, how does a fraternity end up running a $21 million Xanax, counterfeit Xanax ring?
Well, it's funny. The sort of family lineage that helps you deal drugs sometimes is your fraternity lineage. So you might have your big brother or your big brother might deal, and so you enter the fraternity and they'll sort of introduce you to a supplier or something like that. But yes, Mikey did have connections in Atlanta, and that's how he sort of got into the cocaine. But the thing about Xanax and the dark web is you can, get it without ever leaving campus Wi-Fi. You just get on your computer, you get on one of these portals, and they were getting hundreds of thousands of pills shipped to them in USPS boxes. And that's how a lot of drugs move now.
It's just absolutely mind-boggling. How many years was this ring that into College of Charleston? How long was this going on before it got busted up?
So it was kind of percolating in the early 2010s, and then the bust happened in 2016 because a student was found murdered a block from the campus, and his body was surrounded by all of these counterfeit Xanax pills. And so all of a sudden, went from the sort of campus policeman in his golf cart to the DEA, the FBI, the Postal Service. The grown-ups sort of showed up. But ultimately, only one guy, Mikey Schmidt, who we're talking about, is in jail. His best friend in the fraternity wore a wire on him. But besides that, most of these guys had really good lawyers and got away with it.
I'm not surprised to hear that. College of Charleston, for anybody who doesn't know, this is not a public community college. This is a private school. It costs a lot to get in there. It's not the easiest place to get in. I mean, these are kids who, these are the so-called good kids, from the right side of the tracks. And so, of course, that usually has a lot to do with why they're so successful at running crime.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, you have a lot of kids from kind of Greenwich, Connecticut, and Westchester, and these sort of really wealthy northeastern areas, and you have these old southern families coming in. It's kind of this perfect tornado of like north and south and all this money. And also Charleston's just this beautiful city that everyone wants to kind of go out and have a good time in. It's a big party town. And so these kids kind of found themselves in the perfect place.
Max Marshall's with us on the KQ Morning Show. When you first heard about this story, and then I imagine you make a few calls, do a little research, go down to Charleston, how long into the research was it before you realized, I'm standing on the tip of an iceberg, and this is gonna occupy the next few years of my life?
So yeah, the press release said they had found 44,000 pills. That's what the police claimed. And it only took a few weeks of talking to defense lawyers before one of them sort of let it slip that they had actually confiscated basically the equivalent of 3.5 million pills. And so when I heard that discrepancy, I kind of knew there was definitely something bigger here. And then, you go a little deeper and you find out that these fraternities that had members die in the past few years. And then it really just kind of fractaled out of control from there.
That's absolutely astonishing. So let's go back to the murder. I don't want you to necessarily spoil the book, but this was a student who was found murdered. Was he one of the frat guys? Was he in on this, or was he a wrong place at the wrong time kind of kid?
So yeah, his name is Patrick Mosley, who's from a very prominent South Carolina family. His mom had run for Congress. His dad was a big real estate developer. And when he showed up to Charleston, he pretty quickly got involved in this drug network. He moved into a house where there was one guy who was working a pill press. There was another guy who had rented a stash house down the street. So, already pretty large scale, and he got involved very quickly. And the working theory on his murder, at least from the Charleston PD side, is that it was a drug robbery gone wrong. He was selling someone 10,000 Xanax pills, and he had a broken arm, and they tried to basically rob him, and he fought back, and they shot him. But there are also, and the book goes into it, some people have very different theories as to what happened.
Boy, South Carolina is really making a run for top true crime state in America these days with the Murdaugh situation and now this. That's pretty heady stuff, man.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's a lot of the same lawyers. So I had talked to some of those Murdaugh lawyers pretty early on, and I'm pretty sure, the book about the Murdaughs and this book came out the same day. So it is kind of a wild South Carolina crime Woodstock.
Yeah, this kind of story, I mean, this to me sounds like a series of podcasts, probably 4 different limited edition Netflix, Hulu, and Apple TVs, and a feature film. What is next for this story? Because someone clearly has to be developing it somewhere.
Definitely. So, yeah, Sony has optioned it for a movie. And in the last 2 weeks, something like 8 or 9 documentary companies have reached out as well.
Wow.
But I don't know. You know how it is. Like Hollywood, there's an upside-down pyramid between how many movies they say they want to make and how many movies get made. And
sure.
I don't pretend to understand, let alone trust what goes on out there. So we'll see. But
so you haven't rushed out and bought.
There's a lot of interest.
You didn't rush out and buy screenwriting software yet, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I haven't gotten my tan yet, but we'll see.
Max Marshall, the book is called Among the Bros, a fraternity crime story. You went to Columbia University. What's the Greek? Is there a Greek scene at Columbia, and what's it like?
Yeah, I was in a fraternity at Columbia. It's because it's in New York. It's a lot of sort of, I guess, like free games. You know, you go there and then you go out in the city.
Right.
But certainly by my third year, I was like, why am I in a fraternity in New York City? This is a ridiculous thing. And by my fourth year, I stopped paying dues.
Right.
But that being said, a lot of my closest friends and, you know, honestly, some of the biggest early supporters of the book, oddly, were guys in my fraternity.
Yeah. Well, no, that checks out. I mean, it's not all. I was half kidding when I said I just always anti-frat. I mean, I was never in one, but I have plenty of friends who were, and there's always it's just like anything else. You get the good and you get the bad and you get everything in between. So the main guy who ran this thing, Mikey Schmidt, there's one guy that's in prison. He's doing 10 years in prison without parole. Were you able to speak with him?
Yes. So yes, he has a cell phone that was smuggled into his prison cell.
Of course.
And we speak all the time. He, I think he's on his 15th phone. They get confiscated quite a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But when he does have his phone, we're in pretty constant communication. And yeah, I mean, he really wanted to tell his story. And I think, I mean, there was obviously so much he wouldn't go into of sort of, you know, especially when you start getting into the Atlanta sort of underworld. He does not. The reason he's in jail and no one else is he wouldn't rat. And so there is a lot he wouldn't talk about, but then of course there was still so much we can talk about.
Is he in South Carolina prison or system, or is it federal?
He's in South Carolina prison. He's in Wateree prison, and it's, you know, the prison's over 100 years old, no air conditioning. He's living in a converted horse stable. There are flies everywhere. It is a tough situation.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I know just enough to know that you'd probably rather be in federal. Max Marshall, thank you for the time. The book, again, Among the Bros, a fraternity crime story. I will be picking this up. Thank you for calling in, and all the best with whatever this does develop into. Do you have another project you're working on you can share with us really quick?
Yeah, my agent really wants me to write a book on the King Ranch, which is the world's largest, or Texas's largest ranch. It's bigger than Rhode Island, but it's early days. We'll see.
Fair enough. All right, Max, thanks for taking the time, brother. See you.
Thank you so much.
You got it. Okay. Interesting. Okay, you guys, College of Charleston. I'm familiar with it enough. It's a very small private college. Every 6 years, they get to the NCAA tournament and make a run. They're one of those schools, you know, mid-major for basketball. Mm-hmm. It's a very nice. I mean, it's like Miami of Ohio, but with Southern accents. Like it's the sweep of magnolia trees on the campus, more genteel time at the College of Charleston.
Like Mankato here.
Yeah, it's real Tony, as they say. It's upscale as hell in an upscale city. And the idea that these guys they're bringing in counterfeit Xanax from China and cocaine through working with Mexican cartels, and then doing their own pill press. I mean, these are college kids.
Yeah,
and how do they make
that
initial connection to start the process?
They're smart.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. They're too smart for their own good.
Yeah,
it's that perfect combination: smart and not a damn moral ethic or scruple among any of them. Just if you're succeeding, you're winning, and there's no rules, and blah 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 blah. Man, that is fascinating. I mean, truly fascinating. My son went to college a couple of years ago. He went to Indiana, and Greek scene there is huge, and he was like. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a frat guy. And I'm looking at him like, you're not a frat guy. That's not you. And then he got to know a bunch of guys in different frats and has some good friends in those. And he had the best of both worlds. He was given like honorary member of a frat. Like he never had to pay a due. He never had to do anything, but they just for whatever reason accepted him. He's good like that. He's got a lot of different friend groups. He kind of bounces around here to there. And same kind. It was funny because at first he was, you know, I get it. You're in a new campus, big, you know, you don't know what to do. You don't have friends. You just think, well, this is a group of guys I can get to know, and there's some security in there. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, it didn't take long before he kind of got his feet under him and was like, yeah, I don't need this. And then you start seeing some of the downsides of it. But then the worst was I was with him a little over a year ago. And there's a great golf course at Indiana University, and we're out playing a round of golf on a Saturday, and we could hear the frat house stereos through the whole round. And I was like, see, this is why you don't want to be in a fraternity, because people like me hate these people. You're ruining my golf round. Like, they have like giant PAs.
They're the Rodney Dangerfield of golfing.
Oh man, they're cranking like all these mixtapes of the worst music ever, and I'm just trying to play around a golf. It was rough. So yet another reason. In my mid-50s, I'm like, I still hate guys in frats. Okay, good to know.
It is good to know. All right, we're doing are we back to Broken Bone Friday?
I mean, we can do that. We've got plenty of nonsense we can filter through, but yeah, I like the broken bones.
Nonsense coming. If you've got a broken bone story for us this morning, share it, please. 651-989-ROCK and hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Friday, November 10th. 45% of Americans say they have broken a bone. 55% of Americans just haven't lived. I don't get it. I don't know how over half of us haven't broken a bone. The most likely bone to break, a tie between your arm or a finger. Yeah, that's exactly right. The least likely bone, 4% of those with broken bones have broken a nose. Only 4%. Brian Zepp has broken his nose 4 times.
Yeah.
That's you're picking up the slack for the rest of us. Thank you, brother.
Right, you're welcome. There might be a fifth in there somewhere. I'm still, I'm not out of it yet. I'm still leading with my face.
Did you ever have in the aftermath of one of your 4 broken noses? Were you struggling to breathe? Was there a issue that sinuses were going to collapse? Was it ever anything like that calamitous?
Yeah, in fact, since you've been with the morning show, I've had nose surgery to open it up and
that's
breathe
right. What
a little
am I
bit
talking
better.
about? Yeah, you were having all kinds of problems sleeping and stuff because of all that.
Yeah, my nose got smashed and knocked around a bunch, but the last time it was broke. But yeah, I went like 7 or 8 years without being able to breathe through my left nostril. But it's all good now. Now I don't want any more breaks. The nose is fixed. I'm going to protect the face. That's why I wear a hockey helmet with the face mask everywhere I go.
You're Michael Jackson. It's going to fall off eventually.
Yeah.
You flick it.
I'm looking forward to it. I'd love to be Michael Jackson. Shouldn't I be dead by now?
Well, on the inside, maybe.
Oh, I'm dead on the inside.
My favorite broken nose story of all time involves someone I can't stand. So right away, I just like that part. But a douchebag who shall not be named, but who sued my band and put us on court TV for 2 weeks in the 90s. After that all went down, after his wife gave birth to their second child, he was in the nursery holding his newborn in his lap, and he was on his cell phone to his girlfriend, explaining to her how much he couldn't stand his wife, and once the baby, he's going to give it a few months, then he's going to leave, and then we'll be together forever. He was sitting next to a baby monitor.
Oh, of course.
No.
And his wife, who had just delivered their second child, heard the entire conversation, and she walked into the nursery holding the home base of the monitor, which is like the size of a small toaster at that time.
Yeah.
And she broke his nose with it.
Oh,
she slammed it into his face.
Gave him the El Kabong.
That was pretty good. That's I got to see that. I got to put that in a movie. I got to write a movie. Then I got to get a deal. Then I got to get someone to make it. But in the movie, if I ever make it, that scene's going in there.
That's a great scene.
It's pretty great. Candace, do we have any callers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us who they might be?
Mary Jo from Richfield.
Mary Jo, good morning.
Yes. Good morning, guys.
What do you got for us, Mary Jo?
Well, it's about my husband. He could break more bones than most people had, and he was a tall, lanky guy. He was like 6'3" and never broke 140 pounds of his life.
Wow.
But it was still a long way to the ground. At 3 different times, he busted bones wearing slippers.
What? Wearing slippers?
Slippers. First time, it's the front, the rubber was coming off his slipper, and he was going downstairs and stepped on it, flipped on it, and I gave him the old "I told you so" look.
Yeah.
So he walked around on it for 2 days before he went in, and ended up busting the bone in the back. Not your shin bone, the back bone.
Yeah. Oof.
Then one time he was outside and he was trying to chase a stray cat away, and he went to kick at it, and it was frosty out, so he slipped and fell up and fell fell down and busted 2 rib bones back by his spine.
Okay.
Then the third time he went out and he was doing something by his car, and it was winter, and it was parked between the garage, and he fell, busted his wrist, laid there for a while until he could crawl in the house, and he knew better than to call me. So he called our daughter to take him to the hospital. And so she had the hospital put a pink cast on his arm to teach him a lesson.
Man, that's a laugh a minute over in that house back in the day. I guess the lesson is don't kick a cat and wearing slippers.
Yep.
That's the main lesson.
Well, he was kind of like a slinky.
Yeah, it sounds that way. Mary Jo, thank you for the call, dear.
Okay, bye.
I never you know what? I learned a bad lesson with a neighbor cat when I was a kid. I was with a friend of mine. He was a miscreant, and we were walking through our neighborhood in Maryland, and this cat was in a bush. He goes, "Oh, look at that cat." And then the cat hissed at him. He was like, "Oh, man, that cat's a jerk." And I remember, I'll never forget this. He goes, "Let's beat that cat up." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." I didn't even know what that meant. I just thought it was funny. We were making each other laugh. But then he attempted to pick up this cat just to see what was going to happen. And we learned a lesson, which is cats, they'll rip you right apart.
They'll fight back.
He literally pulled a cat out from under a bush that didn't want to be pulled out from under a bush. And that thing was, those claws were out, and it had the teeth and claws right on his shoulder and arm. It was over before I even recognized it was happening, and he was just standing there crying, and I was like, yeah, memo to self, don't mess with a cat.
Yeah, I got bit by a stray cat once.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still here. I'm still alive.
Yeah.
To tell the tale.
And then did he walk off doing that stray cat strut?
Yeah.
Like they like to do? Fair enough. We have another caller, Candace?
Yes. You have Justin from Maplewood.
Justin, good morning, sir.
Morning.
What do you got for us, brother?
Well, I was out ice fishing for sturgeons on the St. Croix River.
Like it?
And I was using with that new K-drill.
Okay. No idea what that is.
It's so you pretty much attach the ice auger right to your drill.
All right.
And I'm drilling through the ice, and you got to drill 2 overlapping holes. So I drilled the first one just fine. Start going through the second one, and the auger binded and caught. And instead of letting go of the auger, I decided to wrestle the drill, and it broke my hand.
Oh.
Well, you had plenty of ice around.
I was going to say, at least it was really cold and there was ice everywhere. Wow, that had to hurt.
Yep, I ended up fishing for another 3 hours before I packed up my stuff myself. And
well, sure.
That's what the beer's for, yeah.
Yeah, you've already gone through all that trouble to get out there, so sure, 3 hours with a broken hand. Did you catch anything?
I did not, unfortunately.
Oh, man, that would have made it all worthwhile. I'm sorry to hear that. Did the hand heal up fine? Everything okay now?
I ended up getting a plate and 6 screws put in it.
Fair enough. Terminator. Is that thing hurt when it gets cold? Does the weather affect when weather changes? Do you feel it?
Every now and again, I can feel something when it gets really cold out.
Yeah. All right. Well, remember, guys, let go of the auger. Thanks for the call, brother. We appreciate it.
Let go.
It's not worth it, I guess. I like the party ones. Mike on the Facebook page at a hotel bar in St. Paul enjoying happy hour. There was a wedding reception going on in the party room, so I wandered in, didn't know a soul, started a conga line. I led the line up on stage, wasn't watching where I was going, fell off, broke my ankle.
Oh, my God.
Who invited Mike?
A conga line.
Man, that's fantastic. And that's good. Where's the iPhone video when you need it?
Yeah, right.
We have another text, Tony.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to the previous. A broken ankle, acting out Lords of Leaping from the 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh, man.
I mean, how do you actually act that out? I wonder if there was a specific pirouette move involved as well. Not just a simple jump up and down, but some sort of fruity little whoop-a-boo.
Yes. How a Lord would leap.
Man, that's fantastic. I damn near broke my nose when I was acting out. There was a Martin Lawrence stand-up special where there was a bit where he was talking about watching Roots and Kunta Kinte. They chop his feet off and he's still running to try to get away, and it's just a bit. And Martin Lawrence does this. He just imitates Kunta Kinte with his feet missing, shackled, and he's like hopping around. It's a quick 2-second thing that's really funny. And I reenacted that in a parking lot outside. We were the band. This is Black Crowes mid-'90s. We're doing a photo shoot, and we all stepped out to take a break. And we were talking about, have you guys seen You So Crazy? And I go, man, that thing where he does that. And I just start doing it, the hop back and forth. And literally, my foot just caught in the gravel, and I went straight down. And I caught with my hands right as my face was about to pound the pavement. And my nose died a little scrape, but I destroyed my favorite sunglasses I've ever owned.
Oh, damn it.
And I went right back to I had them for a year. I mean, I'd had them at that time for a long time. I went right back to the store. They're like, we don't carry those anymore. And I was like, all right, well, I got to get them. Do you have a catalog? Can I order them or all this? They had been discontinued. Never, ever, ever found another pair like it. Devastating.
Lesson learned.
Lesson learned for sure. Candace, we got somebody else on the phone?
Yes, we have John from Burnsville.
John, good morning.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
Wonderful, thank you, sir. What have you got for us?
So I race motocross, and I've been doing it since I was a young lad. I was born 65, like someone else I know here.
Uh-huh.
And I was racing in Mora, and I crashed, and I went to the local Mora hospital. I had found out later I had broken ribs and my collarbone. And they decided I was too high of a trauma case, so they said I needed to go to either Regions or Abbott.
Okay.
And they gave me the, scare story with my wife next to me, like, oh, if you have problems in the ambulance, you might not make it. So they put me in a helicopter, and my wife beat me to Regions in her car. So then I got to Regions, and they thought, my broken ribs weren't a big deal, but they were going to work on my collarbone. So I stayed overnight in Regions, and the next morning I waited till from, it was supposed to be at 9, and then I was at 11, and then I was at 1. And then they sent me home and told me I had to make an appointment to get a consult with the surgeon I just talked to at Regions that day.
Wow.
So this is 4th of July weekend. I went home and went about my business waiting to make an appointment on Wednesday after the 4th. And Wednesday I woke up, I could hardly breathe, so I went to the emergency room in Burnsville, and they told me I had a partially collapsed lung, air in the pocket between my rib cage and my lung, and they pulled 360 cc's of fluid out of my lung.
Wow!
So it was a bad deal, and I got a helicopter ride for nothing.
Man, at least you got a different look-see at things. How long ago did this happen?
It was July 4th weekend this summer.
Oh, just this past summer. Good Lord, man. Well, you sound like you're doing okay now.
Oh, I'm all healed up. I'm ready to go. I'm going to keep riding my dirt bike for the rest of my life.
That boy.
Yeah, get back on that horse, brother. Thank you for the call. I'm sorry you had such a rough go of it.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys do a great job. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it.
You got it. Still throwing his leg over that dirt bike. How about Jeff on our Facebook page? I'm surprised. I know there are a lot of these out there. As soon as he posted this, I went, oh my God, I know like 5 of these. Tree stand accident, 7 breaks.
Man,
out of a tree stand.
Is that because you're so bored you fall asleep and fall out? What the hell is that?
You're supposed to lock in when you get up there, but I was just up in a tree stand last weekend, and I get up there, and my nephew put it up, and I'm like, dude, nowhere to hang the bow, no place to lock in. I'm up there about 30 feet in the air, swaying in the wind, but I held on and did not fall asleep. But yeah, I just usually getting in or out of the chair, the tree stand, it's usually when a lot of those falls will happen. And a lot of guys just don't hook in, guys and gals, they just don't hook in, just taking the shortcuts.
See, and that's why I don't hunt. Hey, you can meet up with 92KQRS as we rock the pantry Monday. That's this Monday, November 13th from 5 to 7 at New Bohemia in Golden Valley. If you bring a grocery bag of non-perishable food or other necessities, why don't you have a beer, maybe an order of fries on us. Plus, you'll have chances to win tickets to Iron Maiden next October, Sweet tickets for the Eagles on November 18th, and tickets to Minnesota Wild's Grateful Dead Night versus the St. Louis Blues, not to be confused with the U.S. Blues, on November 28th. Rock the Pantry will benefit Prism's Marketplace Food Shelf in Golden Valley. That's this Monday, the 13th, from 5 to 7 at New Bohemia in Golden Valley.
All right. Dwayne Perkins, one of these comedians that has a Netflix special. Not many comedians get their own Netflix special. Dwayne Perkins has one, and he's headlining Laugh Camp Comedy Club this weekend. He's going to join us at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candace, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Maybe you want to go have a good night tonight at the Laugh Camp Comedy Club. Dwayne Perkins will be there tonight and tomorrow night at 8 p.m. both nights. And Dwayne Perkins is on the horn with us right now. Good morning, Dwayne.
Hey, Steve. How are you? Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to talk with you, sir. I've been aware of you for a long time. I first saw you on Jay Leno back in the day, and I've seen you occasionally since. Netflix specials here and there. You seem to be a very busy man. You got a director's reel I was just checking out. How often do you still get out and get on the road? How many dates a year are you doing these days? Because it seems like you got too much other stuff going on.
Right. Well, I'm very fortunate. I currently work on a game show, but I work from home, so I'm I'm on the road a lot these days. Probably 1 weekend a month I'm somewhere, and I also go internationally as well. But it's always good to travel within your own country, and I love the Midwest, so I'm very excited about being in St. Paul tonight.
When you hit a town like St. Paul, if you have you're here 2 days, I assume you have some free time. Do you get out and hit the streets, and do you try to pick up on local flavor? Do you go to museums? What's your normal tour protocol during the day?
A little bit, it's like I kind of need. Sometimes I'll have a friend, or I'll bring a girl. Like I need other people to push me to do that kind of stuff, because I'll just spend all day in a coffee shop. But
okay,
I do try to hit whatever the best restaurant or the best sandwich place is. So I'm sure you can help me in that area. I do try to soak up a little bit of the local culture, and it's really all about meeting people and just interacting with people, which you can do that anywhere. So
yeah.
I do sort of do my thing and rub shoulders with the people,
that makes perfect sense. Dwayne Perkins is at Laugh Camp tonight and tomorrow night. He's on the horn with us right now. You started doing stand-up in New York and then found yourself up in Boston. I lived in New York myself. I've spent a lot of time in Boston. That's two different planets, isn't it, really, in a lot of ways?
In a lot of ways it is, yeah. Boston is like... It's almost like, how they say we must protect blank at all costs. I think we have to protect Boston because, New York, Boston has that old town feel, and New York doesn't have it as much, even though I am a New Yorker. Boston is like a town. It's like a big town. It's like a really big, cool town, and it was a great place to do comedy. Some of the funniest guys are there because everyone's funny in Boston. Everyone's sarcastic. You get it from everybody. You get it from the cab driver. You get it from the lady in 7-Eleven. It's just, it's like that little brother complex kind of helps.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've been there a bunch of times before I ever actually rented a car. And the first time I drove around Boston, I kind of connected that all these places I'd been were all right around the corner from each other. It's really way smaller. But to your point, because they're the little brother, they're just loud and they're cocky and they want to remind you of the fact that the history's all there. It's a big mouth little jerk town, but I kind of like it.
Right. And they know it. They call themselves massholes, what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a weird thing because it's also like this intellectual hub. So you have both things going. You got Harvard right there. You got Cambridge. It's a nice mix. It's like the bullies and the nerds in close proximity, and I think that works.
Dwayne Perkins. So how old were you when you started doing stand-up? Late teens, I guess?
No, early 20s, actually. And I went up to Harlem, and that's the first place I ever did comedy. Which was great place to start, but that was trial by fire. Literally, when you got off stage, they would ask the crowd, "Can he come back?" And, even if they said no, you could still come back.
Sure.
But yeah, you know.
So I'm sorry. Like at that, when you first started, let's go back to those very first days. I mean, were you filled with ambition, or was it more trepidation? Like maybe this is going to work, maybe not. Did you have a master plan or no?
Right. You know, it's more ambition. Doing comedy, it's like you have to be so delusional in the beginning. And
yeah, sure.
And I know you were in a band. You know, you have to be so delusional.
Oh yeah.
To think, out of all the people that want to do this, I'm going to be the one. And that delusion kind of, like, you ride that wave the first year or two and then you learn some things, and you're like, okay, let me see if I can do this or not. But it takes a lot of delusion. And I think, you know, Eddie Murphy is probably the reason most people do comedy. Even though once you do comedy, even though I love Eddie Murphy, he's, you know, you realize that George Carlin and Richard Pryor, they're like the godfathers of this. But Eddie was such a rock star that we all were like, we want to do that. And then, you know, now that I do it, I still love Eddie Murphy. But, you know, George Carlin's like my favorite comic ever. But probably, yeah, you know, just seeing Eddie Murphy, you're like, oh, I want to do that. I may not be as talented, but I want to try that. You know what I mean?
Sure. Oh, it's definitely an art form that there's no finish line. I mean, and George Carlin's a perfect example of that. The last special I ever saw him do was still fantastic and still new.
Absolutely. You know, and I'm from Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York, and it's such a basketball hub. Like, literally, this is a place that's only 20 blocks long and 3 avenues wide, and we've produced maybe 4 NBA players in the last 20 years. Like, that's outrageous. So it's really a big sports thing, but sports, your body, you can only do it, you know, it has an expiration date. And comedy, since it's the mind, it doesn't. I worked on a cruise ship once with a guy called Marty Allen, and he was a part of a comedy duo. I didn't even know who he was, but he was a comedy duo in the 60s, and he could barely walk. And he got out there and crushed. It was outrageous.
So that's why you abandoned your NBA career, your hoop dreams, because you were like, yeah, I'm in this for the long haul.
Right, that, and I wasn't really that great at basketball. Like, I was okay, but I was a scrub in my neighborhood.
Oh, come on, man! You just explained how delusional you had to be. You haven't become an all-star in hindsight. I'm all state now that I'm 58 years old. I was unstoppable back in the day, man. Come on.
Exactly. No, I do. I have a joke about that, and I brag. You know, I have a joke about, like, I actually lost a tooth playing basketball, and I joke about that. And I joke about how, you know, no one could guard me. I had 40 points. So you're right. As you get further away from it, you get better.
Yeah, sure.
Like in hindsight.
Dwayne Perkins is at Laugh Camp tonight and tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Both nights. Coney Island, man, I don't know anybody I mean, I've been out there. I know the area, but anybody growing up there, they certainly love to put movies about the Russian mob out in Coney Island, but obviously there's a little bit more than just that going on.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like if you get off, we're right next to Brighton Beach, so if you get off Coney Island, which is the last stop in Brooklyn, it's the southernmost part of Brooklyn. In fact, growing up, I would get Philly stations if I just tilted my TV this way and my antenna that way, I could get Philly stations. If you get off the train, when I grew up, you make a right, you go into the projects where Stephon Marbury is from, and you know all that stuff. You make a left, you're going to Brighton Beach, where I guess the Russian mob would be.
Yeah,
so
right.
Yeah, it was all right there. You know, I would be on the bus with Russian ladies, and they were all friendly and kind. The weird thing about Coney Island, what people don't know, is at the tip of the peninsula, there's a gated community, which is the weirdest thing. It's like the hood, or when I grew up, the hood, and then a gated community at the tip of it. And then as I moved out, I don't know if gentrification happened, but Russians started moving into the projects, and that was interesting. And they were like, no one bothered them. It was like it kind of worked. I went back to the project, and there'd just be a Russian guy outside smoking a cigarette, and I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, right. Did you ever hear? I was out there once in the winter, and the Coney Island Cyclone is one of the most famous roller coasters of all time. When the wind whips through the little platform there, it does this howling noise. Does that ring a bell to you at all?
Oh yeah. When you're we're the last stop, so when you get on the train, the door's still open until the train is going to pull out.
Right.
So yeah, that wind, you hear that wind whipping, and especially if you're on the boardwalk. You know, but when I was younger, like in the winter, I wouldn't. You know, it's weird because when you're by the water, it can be warmer, but the wind you know, makes it feel colder. So yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah, it's you got to bundle up, I suppose. And back then, you know, we had like a 20, depending on where you live, there's a 10 to 15 block walk to the train station. So, you know, you had to bundle up and
yeah, for sure. Well, you know, you got to bundle up around here. We're entering the cold season, not as opposed to the cold and flu season here in the Twin Cities tonight and tomorrow night at Laugh Camp. Dwayne Perkins, it is a pleasure to chat with you, man. Thank you for calling in, and have a great weekend.
Oh, you too. Thanks for having me. Have a great weekend, and look forward to seeing people at the show.
See ya. When my wife and I lived in Brooklyn, our son was born when we lived there, and I had a storage locker, just with, you know, extra crap, because why get rid of it when I can just forget that it's in a storage locker for a couple of years? And it's like a U-Haul storage place in Brooklyn, and where he was talking about Brighton Beach, Coney Island, it was a lot of Eastern Europeans had kind of taken over that part of Brooklyn, and my storage locker was on the way down there, and I went in one day to go put something in or grab something out, but a van pulled up, and two guys who looked like they were off a set about the Russian mob, like a movie was being shot, but they were not in character. They were really these guys. It wasn't a van. It was a box truck, a smaller one, but, you know, a box truck. And they backed it in to the loading bay, and they opened it up, and it was just full to the just filled with powdered baby formula.
I just premium on that.
Right. I was like, it fell off one truck and fell into this one, and they were just loading pallet after. I mean a hand, you know, like a flat cart, and they were just packing it in, and they were in a hurry, and they loaded up a locker full of baby formula, got back in that truck, and tore ass out of there. And I just thought, What on? I mean, I was dying to know, but I wasn't even about to. You know, there's a side of me that wanted to go, "What's up with all that formula, fellas?" You know, just you guys got a lot of babies coming. You know, act like a complete idiot. But calmer, more reasonable Steve took over, and I was like, "Don't talk to Russian mobsters."
No. Don't talk to Russian mobs. Don't talk to mobsters, especially on the East Coast. What do they use? How do you hustle baby formula?
I don't know.
There was the shortage there like a year or two ago. They could have got top dollar for it. Maybe they were mixing it with Coke or something.
I was going to say it could have actually been drugs in baby formula packages, but it looked like it was just straight off of a baby formula, ship. From Elizabeth, New Jersey or something.
Right. I remember being out there on the Cyclone in Coney Island. Dad told me that's where the roller coaster was invented, but you know, he just made things up a lot.
That's one of the first ones. We lived in our apartment building in Brooklyn. There was they had doormen at the building. And one of the guys' name was Felix. He was an elderly man who it turned out he was Ukrainian, but I always just assumed he was Russian because I'm dumb. And he would say, like, "Good morning, Steve. How you doing?" And he had a really thick accent, gray-haired, handsome elderly guy. And then Rosemary was pregnant, and he would say things like, "You must have plenty of protein. Tell her lots of protein." And he would give nutritional tips and stuff. Mm-hmm. And one day he gave me a printed out hierarchy of nutritional needs for pregnant women. I was like, well, okay, thanks, Felix. Cool. And then one day he was leaving his shift, and he walked out, and he got into a car that was parked right outside our building. He got into a beautiful, brand new Jaguar sedan. Oh. And so I immediately was like, he's a hitman. He's working undercover. He's a Ukrainian mobster or a Russian mobster. He's doing this. He's a hitman, or he's a retired boss on the lam, so he's pretending to be a doorman in our building. I mean, I went crazy with this. No, his son was a brain surgeon. Did very well at a hospital on the Upper East Side. Okay. And I met the guy once, and he was like, "Hey, good to see you." And this is my son. He's a brain surgeon. And I'm like, okay, never mind. So I guess you're not a hitman.
Yeah, right.
I really wanted that to be true. And then I had said, somebody had told me he was Russian, and then I said something about that, and he looked at me as if I had cursed his mother and said, "Ukrainian." I was like, oh, my bad. Sorry. Got bad information all around the whole thing here.
Right.
That's how that goes.
population of Russian immigrants here in Minnesota that have come in. A lot in the southern suburbs. In fact, we had a wonderful Russian family move in next door to us. I helped them move a refrigerator into the garage. Complete language barrier. Didn't speak a lick of English. I don't even know if that's yes or no. Maybe it's both, like aloha. I don't know. But I got a couple of shots of vodka out of it and a friendship. But I was playing a video game called The Punisher, and one of the big villains in it is called just the Russian, big guy. And I had to defeat the Russian on this video game, and it took me like 3 days. Not in a row, but I had to keep going back to it. I just couldn't beat this dang Russian. Finally, I beat him. The girls are in the back on the trampoline. I come running out onto the deck, and I scream, "I killed the Russian!"
Nice.
They're in the backyard right there, a Russian neighbors.
They had learned just enough English by that point to know what you were saying.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever been to Moscow on the Hill?
Yeah.
Oh, that
it's just there.
restaurant is so bomb, dude.
Yeah.
They have like a million different kinds of vodka.
Oh, really?
What's your favorite?
The dill vodka.
Dill vodka?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, man. And they got them dumplings, them Russian dumplings that I can't think of the name of.
Fair enough. All right. Is this place still here?
Yeah, it's in St. Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Here's something that's good to know. The 92 KQRS kickback jackpot is at $10,000. Why don't you do yourself a favor? Meet up with Woody and Bud Light at the Muddy Cow in Shakopee during the first half of Sunday's game and sign up for the kickback jackpot. If the first play of the second half is a kickoff return for a touchdown by either team, you could win $10,000. If not, we're going to roll the prize money over to the next game and add another $1,000 to the pot. Complete contest rules at 92KQRS.com. That's Woody and Bud Light at Muddy Cow during the first half of Sunday's game against the Saints.
Outstanding. All right, 9:30. It is, of course, Veterans Day tomorrow. Thank a vet this weekend. Today is the birthday of the Marine Corps. Started in a bar today, 1775, during the Revolutionary War. So our guest here at 9:30 to talk about it, Anoka's greatest Cobra pilot, retired Lieutenant Colonel Bob Hooch Stevenson, going to join us for a few minutes to talk about a big Marine get-together that's happening at Paulie's. I think that's today. Well, we're going to find it all out from Hooch at 9:30. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Good morning. It is Friday, November the 10th. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and then I believe, Zepp, correct me if I'm wrong, today is the birthday for the U.S. Marine Corps. Is that correct?
The United States Marine Corps, born on this day in a tavern. A bunch of drunks got together in a fighting mood, I understand, in New England. 1775 that happened. But, I know that's what I know from Googling. Let's talk to a Marine. We have Anoka's greatest Cobra pilot, retired Lieutenant Colonel Bob Hooch Stevenson, a lifetime Marine, however. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Gentlemen and ladies, good morning. And Brian, there's only two branches of the U.S. military: the Army and the Navy. The Air Force is a corporation, and the Marine Corps is a cult.
Isn't that
I'm only half jesting, and it kind of explains why people don't understand why do the Marines make such a big deal out of their birthday. And the Marine Corps. Okay, we're a smaller branch of service. Everybody agrees on that. Whether we're more elite or not, there's some debate for that. But, our standards are pretty high. Our haircuts are shorter. Our uniforms look better. They fit better. We actually kick fat people out of the Marine Corps. The Navy and the Army and the Air Force used to do that, not so much. But anyway, my point is the Marine Corps has always placed a very, very high emphasis on customs, courtesies, traditions, and history, and the birthday is part of that. And because we were born in a bar, by the way, the story behind that is a true story. 10 November 1775, as part of the American Revolution, in a bar in Philadelphia called Tun Tavern, the actual original Marine recruiter, they raised 2 battalions of what then were called Continental Marines to help fight the British, and so that's where we started. So we're real proud of the fact that we were born in a bar, and so there you go.
You can start a bar fight in Philadelphia right now. That's never changed. So that was good thinking back then.
Yeah. So speaking of the bar thing, and then I really appreciate you guys letting me plug this event. the Marine Corps, every command in the Marine Corps around the world has a birthday ball, and it's a big fancy black tie affair. The Marines will be in their evening dress or blue dress. Civilians will be in a tuxedo. The significant others get all dolled up. The gals are in ball gowns, etc. Well, not every Marine has access to something like that. And I knew the year I came back from Iraq in 2005, I knew that there's Marines out there that just want to get in the same bar with other Marines. So I started a tradition 19 years ago, and it's an annual Marine Corps bird. It's not a ball. It's just get a bunch of Marines in the same bar at the same time. But due to Keegan's Pub, where it started out over in Northeast there, which closed, it's bounced around the last couple of years. This year, I think we have a permanent home. And so tonight, starting at 1600, and for you slimy civilians out there that aren't good at math, just add 12, okay? So 1600 is 4 p.m. Now, new joint, Paulie's Pub and Grill. Paulie's is spelled Paulys', Paulie's Pub and Grill, and it is in St. Paul. And it's a new joint. And what I mean by that is that Joe Castle, the founder, one of the co-founders of Eagle Street Grill and Oxcart and Salt Cellar, a bunch of other joints. He's partnered up with a St. Paul business guy named Jim Flaherty, and Joe Castle and Jim Flaherty just opened up a pub, and it's opening up tonight, and we're there to kick it off properly. It's Paulie's Pub and Grill, and the address is, and I'll give a little pause here because all the Marines are picking up their crayons, getting ready to write their notes here. Paulie's Pub and Grill, 1668 Selby Avenue in St. Paul, 1668 Selby. That's on Selby between Fairview and Snelling. Used to be Augustine, and then it was the Filipino joint for a while. Yeah. And they've taken it over. It's a great. I've been in there the last few nights doing some organizing and planning, testing the bar out for them. And so we're kicking things off at 4 p.m. And then at around 6 to 7-ish, we'll have a small, short, informal program where we'll watch the Commandant's birthday message on video. I'll give a short speech, only like 2-3 hours, short one. And then we'll recognize a couple of special people and sing the Marines hymn in a god-awful manner. We'll have a bagpiper there, all kinds of debauchery. And everybody's welcome, including you Army doggies. Brian and Candace and anybody else. And anybody who wants to help Marines get weird and celebrate their birthday are welcome to come tonight to Paulie's Pub and Grill, 1668 Selby Avenue.
1668 Selby Avenue, Paulie's. Just make sure you'll leave it there tomorrow morning. So, don't bring it down on your heads tonight. Lieutenant Colonel Bob Hooch Stevenson, you're a retired lieutenant colonel, retired Cobra pilot, but Marines, I understand, never retire. So lifelong Marines. So all the Marines, come on down to Paulie's tonight. And like you said, everyone's welcome to come down. There's no cover here or anything like that. It's just a gathering of folks. I do like this. Knife hands are authorized and encouraged. If you are a vet, you know knife hands. Yeah,
it's funny you mentioned that. There was a period every now and then, even in the Marine Corps, and especially the federal government and the military. There's some loser who's like, I'm going to make a name for myself to change this policy, or I'm going to change the name of this building or this order. And it's like, would you stop that BS and get to work, right? But anyway, somebody decided that knife hands was a little too aggressive and mean. So there was kind of this informal, it wasn't official policy, but it was like informal, like, hey, let's not do knife hands because it's not nice. It's kind of, and then that, of course, what the way the Marines reacted is that they started doing knife hands as double as possible. What a knife hand is, imagine this: if you take everybody listening right now, take your right hand or left hand and you make it flat, like try to make your hand like a knife, and then when you're dressing somebody down, you stick it right in their face. Your longest finger, which is your middle finger, should be about an inch from their nose, and you kind of shake it up and down while you're yelling at them, and that's called knife hands. And so the year that they said that knife hands were going to be discouraged in the Marine Corps, I put in my little invitation operations order. Knife hands are not only authorized but welcome and encouraged. So you'll see some guys talking to each other, guys and gals talking to each other in knife hands tonight. But
as the son of a Marine, I don't have any traumatic things echoing up from my central nervous system right now. So yeah, no problem with the knife hands talk, Hooch. Thanks.
Well, I mean, if you were raised by a Marine, it's gonna be a chance that you're either gonna be in prison or working at the KQ Morning Show, one or the other.
So far, just the latter, but the former is always right around the corner. It feels like.
Yeah, you never know. But no, it's a lot of fun. You know, the Marine Corps. You know what Zep, what you mentioned earlier about once a Marine, always a Marine. You know, one thing unique about the Marine Corps, when you go into you go into the Army, you're a soldier. You go into the Navy, you're a sailor. You go into the Air Force, you're an airman. When you go into the Marine Corps, you're a Marine. We're the only branch of service where its individuals take on the title of the branch of service. And that's why they say that when you earn that title Marine, you'll wear that title forever, whether you do 4 years and get out and go to college, or you go get 4 years, you get out, go to work. If you do 28 years like I did, or 30 years and retire, you become a general, you stay a corporal, whatever, it doesn't matter. When you earn that title and you are authorized to wear that Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, you are in fact, a Marine for life. And, you know, that whole debate about, is he an ex-Marine, former Marine? I remember when that was going around, I was like, guys, even as a Marine, I have a small understanding of the English language that former and ex mean the same thing. So some people like to say, you know, he's a veteran Marine. I just choose to say, somebody comes up and says, I understand you were a Marine. I go, Excuse me, are a Marine. I am a Marine. You know, like once a Marine, always a Marine. So thanks for reminding me to bring that up.
A different breed of warrior and individual, no doubt. I'm going to read from your email here, Hooch. Don't suck. Be there tonight, 1600 at Paulie's Pub and Grill. That address again, Bob, one more time, please.
It is 1668, 1668 Selby Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota. And people can go on Facebook and search. I made the event public. It's there too. It's on Facebook, and it'll be, you know, some words to the effect. If you put in Marine Corps birthday, USMC, Paulie's, or a combination there, you should get it. And then the address is on there too. And if somebody needs anybody needs either a lat long or a 8-digit grid, I can provide that later.
All right. Bob Hooch Stevenson, retired Lieutenant Colonel, always a Marine. Thank you for your time this morning. And thank you for your service, Bob.
Likewise. And thank you guys for letting me plug the event and giving us a little exposure. We sure appreciate it.
We're happy for you, man. All right. Thanks, buddy.
We'll talk to Hooch again next year, and hopefully by then he's relaxed and willing to actually share some thoughts with us.
Doubtful.
Clearly uptight with speaking publicly.
Yeah, isn't he? Yeah.
Man.
Oh, it's a good time.
Yeah, that is excellent. Now you're talking.
Boy, good Lord.
That would really be a fun night. If I weren't otherwise occupied, it'd be something I'd seriously consider doing. It sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it should be a good time. I'll tell you what, folks can head over to St. Paul there at 4 o'clock, catch a little of the Marine Corps birthday party and thank some veterans over there, and then hightail it over to 7th Street entry for the Bagman show.
Hey,
that's
listen,
a nice
that's
thing
right.
to do.
Hey, Zep, you're right. Had I mentioned I got a band and we're playing tonight?
What?
What do you play?
Oh, now you tell us.
Well, I'm a drummer, and I got a bass player who sings, and I got a guitar player who kind of sings a little. And, well, we got a thing called Bagmen. We're at 7th Street entry tonight. We're playing at 8:30. No opening act. We get in, we hit it, we quit it. We're not going to keep you out till midnight. You know, we're old. Let's not kid ourselves. But it rocks hard, and it swings, and we're going to have a great time. So 7th Street entry. Come on down, and if you do, by God, stick around and say hi afterwards.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm going to be watching you.
Oh, God, I hate when people watch. I like
really
when the
want
audience.
To catch a drumstick.
I'm going to have my
FYI.
back to him the whole time.
That works for me. You're going to catch a drumstick? That means I have to throw one, I guess.
Yep.
All right. Well, listen, you know, those things, you can take an eye out. So you keep your hands up. Keep the face covered, all right?
I'm good with. I'll be
hungry
fine.
for a turkey leg right now.
It's gonna come out at an alarming rate of speed, Candace. I'm just telling you right now ahead of time.
The KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.